Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. This time, we are recapping the most recent episode of She-Hulk. She-Hulk episode 2, from one law firm to another law firm and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me as always, Steve Holler. What's up, Steve?
Well, a lot of time since I watched this, and inherently trying to remember what happened during it.
Well,
but I remember I liked it, so we can start with that.
Okay, good. We're in luck because I just watched it the other night. I just watched it Saturday night, so last night. So I'm in. I'm ready to go. I also liked it, and I wasn't sure if I would because the first episode was such like its own contained thing. This is how she got her powers, and she's hanging out with her cousin Bruce on this, tropical area of Mexico. But this episode kind of got us more into the direction of the show, which is her struggling to be a lawyer, but also with her She-Hulk powers. And I don't know, I thought it was interesting that right off the bat they showed the consequences of her. I mean, that was the whole episode, the consequences of her hulking out in court, getting fired from her current firm because she's a liability, and then eventually getting hired by another firm for superhero law, but only because she has the ability to turn into a Hulk. I thought that was cool. I mean, jumping right to I liked the entirety of this episode, but I think the biggest part of it was that we got to see Emil Blonsky again for the first time since 2008's The Incredible Hulk. Not the Abomination, because as we found out at the end of this episode, we saw or as we were reminded, I should say, at the end of this episode, we had seen the Abomination in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, but we hadn't seen Emil Blonsky himself since he was going toe-to-toe with Ed Norton in 2008's The Incredible Hulk.
Which I thought was amazing that they that Bruce actually made that reference, that he was a different person, literally.
Yes, that was hilarious. Yeah. But it also, like, I was trying to think, I was like, that's definitely like a meta joke. And I think it works within the world of the MCU because he's like a smart Hulk instead of just Bruce Banner or like mindless Hulk. So that, like, in that world, is that what he's saying? Like, we all know that he's referencing the fact that he used to be played by Ed Norton, but I was like, is that a one step too far out of the universe to make that joke?
Did it work?
I don't know.
Did it not work? How'd it go? And I think it did work
for me because I laughed, but like, I don't know, would he really say literally in that? But anyway, I get what they were coming from. But
I think in the vein of She-Hulk, like in the vein of what we've seen from She-Hulk as a show, it hits.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, speaking of that, the fourth wall breaking.
Yep.
When she's being led through the law firm and she's talking to the viewer so much that she forgot, it wasn't paying attention.
Right.
That was great. That was some Deadpool shit right there.
Yeah.
that was
I don't know
excellent.
what I just agreed to. I hope it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I'm going to be thinking about that for a year or whatever. Like, I love that.
Yep.
I love that. It was great. Yeah, super cool. And going back to Emil Blonsky, I think this is a kind of a classic MCU thing where they subvert your expectations, but in a way that is largely good, or you find to be refreshing, where I feel like a lot of people, me included, expected her to be walking because, they set the whole thing up like, don't go across the yellow line, like this guy is dangerous. It's blah, 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 blah. Like there's a whole scene of her being led. She makes a Hannibal Lecter joke or whatever, like a whole scene of her being led down super strict and reserved or areas.
Oh yeah, she dropped the fava beans in a nice candy.
Yeah. And the guy's like, this isn't a joke. This guy will kill you. Like, he was like really hammering it in.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I write haikus and I'm a nice guy, and which is great.
And then Bruce got the haiku from him.
Yeah, super funny. But like, because of that scene and because of the last time we saw him, we all went into that scene assuming that he was going to be some maybe Hannibal Lecter type guy, or just some like ruthless, violent murderer person, you know, like some kind of angry guy behind that glass. And he was like, I left all that behind, and you know, I don't want to be that anymore or something, you know, which I thought was great. And she immediately, you know, turned her lawyer brain on, like, oh, your actions were only because of something that the United States government forced you to take or whatever, you know, like, oh, whoa, there's your defense right there. Like, that's a good lawyer right there. Immediately, like, able to take the case and figure it out.
You know, without the fact that he decided to go hang out with Wong for a while.
Right, which I also thought was cool that they're bringing that in at the end, because it throws kind of a wrench into her plans for that case. She's going to have to go back and figure that out. Yeah.
Now, it does also set a time frame for this, too, which is nice.
Yeah, you're right.
So
you're right,
ties
because
it seemed like into that.
Yeah, so that news report at the end, it seemed like it was a recent thing that he had just gone to.
Yeah, I think they said that like that was happening actively.
Oh, like that was live. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or like just recent footage or something like that.
Right. So this is happening more or less at the same time that Shang-Chi is happening. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it a lot. This is I am liking this show more than I expected to.
Same.
And not necessarily that it wasn't anything about the character. It was just about, like, we're getting a lot of Marvel shows.
It was overload.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of Marvel shows. Yeah, exactly. Because we're getting so many, it's hard to be excited for every single one unless that's the only thing that you care about. And as much as I love superhero stuff, like, I like watching other stuff as well.
Yeah.
And
this was the same thing as WandaVision, though. Like, in the sense that we went in, like, we were talking about superhero fatigue and all that, and then WandaVision came out and it kind of refreshed us.
Right.
And in this case, like, She-Hulk comes out and it kind of refreshes us of, oh, this is a different take on it. This is still fun. This is still comic booky. Yeah. Like, it's the most comic booky thing they've put out outside of Deadpool.
Yeah, I think that might be part of the reason that I like it so much, because the tone of it is a lot more fun. I mean, that's why I like Ms. Marvel, because the tone was really fun and it looked different and dealt with different things. And, you know, this subject matter wise, not the most different thing, but it certainly is a different viewpoint, a different angle from like a female lawyer perspective, and not someone who doesn't want to be a superhero, but is having, like, you know, like her cousin warned her, having to deal with the repercussions of having these powers and being a Hulk, you know. Oh, I loved that she walked into the bar as She-Hulk, immediately drank like a glass of whiskey, and then her boss made her turn back into a human and she got immediately drunk. Like, I thought that was really funny. Yeah. She's like, different metabolism. Like, that's funny that it happens like that. You know, it's cool. Anyway, yeah, I like this show. I like it a lot. I was surprised that we didn't get any more Titania after her big appearance last week, and then we still got her pushed off.
We did get a mention.
3. We got a mention, yeah, sure. But I thought
it seems like
was gonna.
They're I think they said like influencer supervillain or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we're setting it up for a modern take on it, which is that's nice to see. So yeah, I mean, she'll come back with a vengeance later, I'm sure. I don't think they cast Jamila just to have her break into a courtroom.
Oh
once.
Yeah,
so,
no way.
The other thing is Bruce just taking off in the Sicarian ship.
Yes, how did I think about?
It's the perfect get him the hell away.
Yeah, like a reason for him not to be in every episode of this.
Right, and I want to say the showrunner actually came out and said it was the perfect way for us to do that and not have to pay Mark Ruffalo anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, I love how she's just calling it how it is.
Yeah. But you just called that Sicarian ship. Is that for sure? Because I feel like they weren't
said in episode 1. I thought they referenced it as a Sicarian ship.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I thought he said something about how he had to figure it out what it was, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. But either way,
I didn't expect him to be on that ship and disappear at light speed into a galaxy far away. So
yeah. Next thing you know, he's going to be showing up in Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, I was gonna see. I was like, is this the same play as at end of Age of Ultron? Like, let's just get him on a thing and send him far away, and so then the next time he shows up, he could be anywhere.
He could be anywhere in anything. Because are we setting up like World War Hulk?
I heard rumor about. I think World War Hulk was trending on Twitter the day after that episode aired, and now I know why.
Oh, there you go.
But,
okay, that makes sense.
I don't know. I feel like they can't make. I feel like they still Paramount still owns Hulk. I think. I don't think there's been any. Like that's why there had been a solo Hulk movie because they have to pay Paramount.
I mean, maybe they just figure it'll be big enough that they just pay Paramount. It is the mouse.
Yeah, maybe, or just but I think that like he can't be the main character. Like his. So if it's World War Hulk and there's enough other Hulks to make it an ensemble, maybe that skirts maybe that's the loophole. You know, skirts the rule. Who knows? I'm sure we'll see. But it also like that means they don't have to use Hulk if they don't have an idea for him. He can just be in space for as long as they humanly want him to be. Or he shows up in Secret Wars because we also know Nick Fury is in space. So who knows? But anyway, back on Earth, I'm loving Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk so far. So we'll have to see
absolutely.
What happens next week.
So wait, right. I mean, just not to prolong this, but like, it seems like the Phase 4 TV has been a very different take than the Phase 4 movies at present. There's been a lot of hemming and hawing about the Phase 4 movies, but Phase 4 TV, you've got what? Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, and this so far. Am I missing something in there?
Well, isn't everything that's been on the TV so far that's been Phase 4? Starting with WandaVision. Everything.
Oh yeah.
Because Phase 3 ended with Spider-Man: Far From Home. So everything after that, Black Widow was the first movie, but then it's WandaVision and Loki and.
Sorry, I had a Owen Wilson moment there.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So there's been ups and downs on both.
So I guess the tail end of 4 seems to
pretty strong.
They might be finding their footing. If nothing else, I mean, Ms. Marvel and this are great.
I mean, it'll be really interesting to see when we get to those Avengers movies. 2 years from now or whenever they announced Phase 6, right? Wasn't that Phase 6 that they were talking about? Those 2 Avengers movies are coming out. So like we got a while, but it'll be interesting to see when we start seeing these TV characters show up in other films and things like that, and how the balance shifts, if it does at all, or how they make those connections, I guess. Like a character like Moon Knight, who is removed from everything else. If he shows up how does he show up?
Right. Yeah, or does he?
Or does he?
Does Oscar Isaac cash the paycheck? Yes, he does. So.
Well, we don't know. I mean, I think there was a story where he referenced doing more Moon Knights, even though we reported a while ago that he had only signed for 1 season and not even any movie appearances. But,
right.
I'm sure people liked him a lot, so I'm sure they're going to do what they can to get him back. But like everything with the MCU, we shall see. And I think that's all I got. Anything you got? Anything else about She-Hulk episode 2?
No, I think that about nails it.
All right.
I guess
not sure.
What's up?
I'm just gonna say not sure if we'll be able to do one of these next week because our recording schedule is gonna be thrown off a little bit next week from the Labor Day weekend holiday. But so we'll see. But I'm sure we'll do a recap of if we miss an episode 3 recap. I'm sure we'll catch up at some point for sure.
Yeah, we can roll it into our normal episode or whatever, or just double up the week after. So
yeah.
One way or another, cool. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to follow us, like, subscribe on YouTube, ring that bell to know when we put a new video up. Watch or listening on your podcatcher of choice, then listen and subscribe and review us if you could. Just interact with us wherever you can. Jeez, I can't talk. You would think doing a podcast I'd be able to talk, but multiverseport.com, Multiverse Report on socials, Multiverse RPT on Twitter. Find us, talk to us. We're here. Leave us a review. It's really appreciated. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, check us out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time in the multiverse.
Okay. So we got that one in the books too. 10-4.